Welcome to a video that introduces how we can use Dotebase and Dote together for specific tasks or processes or practices within qualitative analysis of audiovisual data and transcripts. So we're just going to quickly introduce these, and then there are longer form videos going into some of the details about how Dotebase and Dote can be used. So first of all, we have use case 1, which is that you've got a corpus of video audiovisual data. You've managed to make some recordings, you have lots of clips, and maybe they could be an hour long, they could be 3 hours long, they could be 10 minutes long, and you've got a big set of these and you want to start working with them. Something interesting, some phenomena you're interested in. So this is use case 1. You haven't made any transcripts yet, maybe you won't make any, you're not sure if you'll start or where you'll start making transcripts. This is something that we've had to deal with over many years experience dealing with very complex video recording setups, where we just don't know where to get started, and we have no tools really to start annotating and collecting together clips and starting to figure out where to begin, what's really interesting. So just going to show you now Dotebase, and Dotebase is a tool that allows you to start working with your audiovisual data before you've even transcribed. Here we see our Lego demo Dotebase, which has already got a number of features already with transcripts and with media clips and with all sorts of media clip and transcript clips, and organized in all sorts of ways. But if I go to this demo here, and open this, you'll see that we have no media clips, we have no transcript clips, we have only the metadata here at the top of the transcript. We have no transcript. So these are raw projects we've created, 2 of them in Dote. You have to create your projects and a dummy transcript. You can see the other one here. If I click that, it's also got just metadata. And as long as you've got your media files there, you've created those in Dote, then you can assemble them in a Dotespace and then start working. So for example, we could be saying, okay, there's something really interesting going on here. We might want to zoom in, and we can do that in Dote to create, say, a zoom there with a video cue. And let's say somewhere here we want to select this part where something interesting is happening in the scene. We can make a new clip and use a preset if we wish, and define a bit of metadata. If we create that, then we will be able to maybe make new tiers here. We can have any number of tiers. You can see we have none at the moment. If all we have to do is click here and start to create a new tier. We won't do that right now. And then slowly, as you're going through your media, you can add layers and layers of media clips that begin to get a sense of what's going on in the event that event that you've recorded. So that doesn't require you to make a transcript. You don't use Dote to use that. You start working in Dotebase with your media files. So that's giving you a quick idea of that case, which is very common to get started. If we go back, use case 2 would be what happens when you transition to transcribing. And you can see here, if we've made a number of clips, we might wish to begin transcribing. You can't transcribe in Dotebase. What we can do is open this in Dote, and here we have the transcript, and we've got some of the media files. We've got the waveform. We could begin to start here working on transcribing. Just go down, and then we could start. Okay, P1 says something. Says something. And then we might have some in the neighborhood, some action, sub-tiers, etc., some translation, and then we go on to a new where P2 does something, blah blah blah. And as we're transcribing, we've now, if we save those changes, they would reappear here if we did save them. I won't save them right now. Then we would begin to start transcribing at exactly the point that we felt that we needed to. And this here, if we had a sync code, it could be we thought this is the most interesting place where they're working together, as we saw. I can make a sync code here, and you can see I've got a sync code. I just move a little bit further on in time, and then I will maybe have the second sync code. So now we have, as you can see up here, we've begun working on a transcript of a particular place. So that's one way getting into transcribing is by finding out from your media clipping something interesting is going on here. I want to start expanding that into say a Jeffersonian, and then finally maybe into a Mondadan transcript. And as you can see, if we go back to the Lego demo, and if I click this one here, you'll see that's what we did here. We've added a number of tiers in this score-based system. These are all the media clips, and then we've transcribed it in much more detail. Okay, if we go back to the slides, the next use case would be working with the transcripts, and that would be you've maybe got tons of different transcripts. And here we've just maybe got a few transcripts. There's 3 Jeffersonian, 3 Mondadan within the Lego demo. But if I now go to this mixed data, you'll see if I expand that one, we've got 3 watch folders, and inside those we've got lots of clips. And these are taken from a number of published sources. For example, if I open this one here, this is from Sheglov's book, of which there is an appendix at the end with a long telephone transcript, and this one has been reproduced here. It's already got 1 transcript clip. It's an audio clip, so there's no video file. There's no media clips have been created for this yet. And this is the whole 16 minutes 46 seconds of the clip. And there's some other famous examples, different sorts of data. And if I go down, you'll see there's a few more down here, a bit more complicated examples where there's quite complicated things going on, and using a Mondadan transcript. And if I go into the last watch folder, you'll see there's some from Talk Radio and Martin Luther King. So if I go there, you'll see this is his I Have a Dream speech, and here's a small extract at this particular place in the 16-minute recording of the I Have a Dream speech, the very famous speech. And this recording here is transcribed just for that little place there. But there's a number of talk radios and hard talk presidential debates you can see here. This is the famous presidential debate from 2020 about the Proud Boys. So it's just a small transcript of a clip of that. All these are in the same Dote space, which means that I could add any number of projects. There's a very mixed, diverse range of transcripts here with media sources, and I can start tagging those, adding transcript clips and media clips, and those are all available to be searched over. I might be trying to find particular phenomena across very diverse ranges of talk and conversation. So that's another way of using use case. A fourth use case would be making notes while transcribing, and here we are. We couldn't do that here while we're transcribing, but you can't transcribe in Dotebase. So if we just open up Dote, as we're transcribing, we may say notice something here. I can make a transcript clip here and add some tags, and create that. And so I can, as I'm transcribing, create, I think I noticed something as I'm transcribing. I'll just make a quick note of that, and maybe choose a particular color to signify something that could be used for a particular phenomena. And if you go, when you're saving this, it will appear here. You can also create the clips in Dotebase and then add some presets and some start working up some particular color swatches to color code styles. But you can do basic transcript clipping here. You can't do media clipping in Dote. You'd have to do that here, and that's where you would start in Dotebase. Okay, so let's go back to the slides and see a use case 5 is commenting on others' data and transcripts. So what you can do is somebody can export their Dote space that they've created in Dote, or their project in Dote. If they export their project in Dote, you can import it into a Dote and then make that in a watch folder and make a new Dote space. But if they export their Dote space, then you can import directly their Dote space from here. You can see import. You can choose what's the Dote space file that's created when they exported. Where am I going to put it? What's the name for it? Do I want this information as well, this metadata? And then import that, and then it would appear in your list of Dote spaces. So it would add here to another list in my list of 4. I would have 5 Dote spaces, and that can be sent from somebody, a student, for example, or a colleague, and they would like your comments on it. So you can take that Dote space, open it up, look at the transcript and the metadata, and then start adding comments. You could also, of course, in Dote, edit that transcript, use checkpoints to track that. So some quick way you have of being able to mark up other people's transcripts and their media files, maybe adding some media clips to something was missed completely in the transcript, I wasn't even transcribed, so you could add in the media clips, some sorts of comments, and then export that, send it back to them, and they can import it as a new Dotespace with your comments attached, and then they can work that up in their original. Okay, if we go back, that's use case 5. Use case 6 would be working as a team, and as a team, of course, you can work independently on Dote projects, and as long as you work independently and you're not reproducing the work, you can then pull those together. So as long as they're in a watch folder, if somebody sends you a project that's to be included in your Dotespace, they've transcribed some data, then you can just drop it in that folder on your file system, and it would appear then, as we see here. If I open this, it would appear in the listing here. These are many different projects with different types of transcripts. They would appear here, and then you could just open those and start tagging them, annotating, making clips, transcript clips and media clips. And so if a team is working on some data, you can distribute that work and say, you work on that project, that particular bit of clip of data, transcribe it, or add some media clips, send it back to me, and then if you export it as a Dote project or as a Dotespace, then I can open that and then add those projects to the master Dotespace, and then I can share that back with everybody, so that all of our projects will be included. So that's one way. What we're also hoping is that in future, in working in Dote, that we'll have a new version of Dote later this year that will allow you to work systematically on a Dote project, but you split up the transcription work and you can then merge it back later. So as long as they are done at different parts of the audio of the time stream, the stream of the recording of the timeline, then you can then combine those later, merge them together, and have a whole complete transcript. So that means you can divide up the work of working on a transcript within a project, let alone working on separate projects that go into a Dotespace. Okay, if we just go back, then another use case would be including written text data. And what we'll see here is we do have an example. You can, not in a brilliant way, but you can include written text as well, and they may be part of your audiovisual corpus. You could have a number of written texts. These are newspaper articles. If I open them, you'll see this is a Daily Mail article. This is a headline. I've already added 2 tags here. This was in 2019 to do with Brexit. Then, and you can see there's a number of other examples here. This is to do with Ukraine after the prior to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Then you can add text and mark them up. All they have to be is included as transcripts within a Dote project with no media file, and then you can include them here. These are all in the same watch folder, and so they're just added, and I can add any number of new written text documents within the framework of Dote into this folder, and then they would appear here, and I can start annotating them. Okay, so that's another use of written text data. And lastly, of course, there's many other uses maybe that we haven't yet imagined that you will find. Please share those with us so that we can make new cases and elaborate on those for your creative uses of Dotebase and Dote. So have fun looking at the videos that we've made for each of these cases where we go into much more detail. This was just a quick introduction to get you an idea of a range of rich ways of using Dotebase and its integration with Dote to get qualitative analysis done in new ways.